Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Zach Taylor podcast. Today, I'm joined by Yumi. She runs property management with us, and so I thought it'd be really cool insight to learn more about what she does.
Yep.
So, tell me, Yumi, what got you into real estate?
Well, I was working in a music business at first. That's what brought me to Nashville. And everybody said back then, "Well, buy a house. Renting is not a good, financial decision."
Hmm.
So I decided to buy a house, and I had a great agent. And she just showed me she was a great teacher. She took my hand and showed me around, and I got a house with her, and I had so much fun house hunting, buying. So I asked her, "Well, should I be in real estate?" And she said, "No, you got a great job." I was the international marketing manager at Warner Brothers Records.
Yeah, I
So she
remember
was
that.
like, "Keep your job." So I was like, "Okay." But then I left that job and I was about to buy a second house. And I looked her up and I called her. And unfortunately, she passed away. Not
Hmm.
passed out, I'm sorry. But anyway, so I was like, oh, what do I do? So I interviewed several agents, um, and I didn't like them. They were not as good as she was.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, maybe I could use what she taught me and become an agent myself, and I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been in it now?
Well, I took the license about 20 years ago, but I've been actually practicing for 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
15 years.
So, a lot of experience during that time, too.
Yeah, 15 years is a long time now I think about it. Yeah.
And I kind of hinted at it earlier, but you primarily specialize in property management.
Yes. About 80% of my business comes from property management.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how do you like it so far?
I like it. I'm a people person, and it's definitely a people business, property management. You're always talking to somebody, and also I love to help people out.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody, I can make somebody happy. I'm
Yeah.
happy, and that's the job for property managers.
Okay.
Try to make everybody happy on every end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do have several agents that are looking to get into property management,
Sure.
kind of dip their toes in the water per se.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you kind of say, like an overall um, specialty? Like, what are you handling on a monthly basis?
Monthly basis. Well, if all the tenants are in place, just bookkeeping and maintenance. If something breaks or if somebody's having an issue, they call me and I arrange for vendors to go in and fix everything. And I get okays from homeowners for the price, the cost of the maintenance or repairs. So a lot of juggling and phone calls.
Yeah.
But some months I don't get any calls. In some
Right.
month I get calls every day. So you never know. But just day to day
Okay.
housekeeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What are some strategies you think people could find people that need property managers?
Well, the I want to tell any agent who want to be in property management, never say no. I mean, if somebody says, "Well, I'm not ready to sell, but I have to move out," like I have so much mortgage left in this house, or I just bought this house, what do I do? And property management, you can suggest it. Just to know that that's something you can offer. You don't have to have a special license or anything. You're already a licensed real estate agent, so you can practice property management.
Right.
So just never say no to any situation. You can sell, buy, but that's not all you can offer. You can definitely offer property management as one of your specialties, or if you don't want to do it, we as a company uh, do it. So just refer it to me.
Okay. What are some of your best tips for property management?
Tips. Certain people are not for it.
Okay.
Like if you're too busy, you don't want to spend time, dealing with people. it might not be for you, but I believe you in real estate business already. I want to assume you like to deal with people, like buyers and sellers. So just to be open, I guess, open for it. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It's not really hard, especially if you own your own house. It's about the same. You just take care of other people's house just like it's yours. So you can do it. But it sometimes can take a lot of time. It's time consuming sometimes. So it might not be for you. But we do it as a company. So.
I think that's really cool that you mentioned that, and that's what we try to teach our agents too. Is like it is another option versus just buying, selling.
Yes.
So the more people can learn and provide more options to people,
Yes.
the more opportunities you have to help increase your income too, just to
Yes.
help more people.
Yes, because we all know it's the seller's market right now. Everything is selling like crazy. But when things slow down, there are a lot of people who might get in a situation they don't want to sell or they cannot sell for the price that they need. So that's what happened to me. That's how I got into the business, property management, because right after Lehman shock, people wanted to sell, but they couldn't get the money enough to pay off the mortgage. So what do? Go ahead and rent it for a couple of years, or just to get this off. Get this period that's hard to sell time frame. And that's how I got into this. Some of my people that I bought houses with, I was the buyer agent for them. They wanted to sell, but they couldn't. So I was like, well, let me rent it out for you. And that's how I started.
So what's kind of the without getting too much into the nitty gritty, but if somebody says a homeowner, hey, I want to use you as a property manager, what's kind of the first step?
First step is make sure it is rentable. Some subdivisions have restrictions. You're not able to rent it in that area. So, and also because I have gotten into situations like that before. And also, homeowners are ready to pay for all the maintenance and repair costs or whatever is required of them. HOA, tax, all those things should be considered. And you can definitely calculate into rent price per month to charge to your tenant. But there are a lot of things that the homeowners might not be aware that are involved in renting a house out. And also just get all the paperwork, documentations right.
Right.
And finding a good tenant. Placing a good tenant is the hardest part of your job as a property manager. So just explain to the homeowners that all the regulations for your housing. And just make sure that you're covered legally.
Because that's what I have to commend you on is when you were agent number one for us.
Yes.
With how fast we're growing, always agent number one.
Yes.
But you helped kind of train us on property management. And even a lot of those forms you're saying, it's not too much different than buying or selling, but it's still the paperwork. Like, what kind of stuff should I have them sign?
Well, we do have a homeowner agreement, like, and we do have different forms, the information forms, like what kind of filter sizes does the house have, or utility companies, because the tenants need to know to connect. So we have different paperworks like that. But legally, it's just the homeowner agreement for us to rent it and market it on MLS, just like the listing agreement.
Okay, so somebody comes in, they see your listing, they come in as a potential tenant, they're happy to apply, so they pay an application fee.
Yes.
And then what happens?
Well, they need to agree for us to screen, and it's just the signature online. It's not that hard. And then we get credit scores and criminal history background, and that's automatic. And these days it's so quick online, but I don't stop there because I believe people are just not numbers. So I actually pick up the phone and call all their references, their past landlords, their employers, their references could be friends or family. I actually pick up the phone and talk to me and get the feel of the person. And of course, the person put the references on the application, so they won't really, talk bad things about them. But I can actually make sure everything that the tenant or applicant put are correct. They're not lying to us.
Right.
And sometimes you get a surprise. Even the applicant himself did not know about some grades in credit history or criminal records and all that. So it's definitely a good thing. And that's the most important part. Make a thorough investigation on the applicant, because once you place a tenant in a house, it's really very very hard legally to evict somebody.
Right.
So I am extra careful about that.
That's what we noticed. We have somebody that's beginning property management. We're starting to run the screening reports with our software, and one of the first ones, it came back with like collections for multiple years as like they didn't pay this apartment, they didn't pay this apartment, but they're applying for ours.
Yes.
So that's a big red flag.
Exactly. And it's just the people business, like I said. So I look at it, and if they have a medical record, because bad things can happen to good people. So if they have a medical record and, medical whatever the bills, or they have student loan, student loan could be good because they're educated. They have a degree, So, but credits, good credits, you use your own common sense and your own judgment, and actually talk to a person, applicant, and have them explain it to you.
Okay. Well, I like that. And then, so assuming we run the credit background, everything comes back good. What's the next step for them?
Well, we definitely draw up a lease agreement.
Yep.
And explain the lease terms to the tenant and also homeowners. And I don't share the information with homeowners, the credit histories and all that kind of stuff. That's a legal liability. So and have them pay the security deposit and move them in.
Nice. Okay.
Yep.
Because I know you focus on a lot of the long-term rentals, like at least a year. And I know you said in the very beginning, which was smart, is even researching if the property can be rented out, if it's in an HOA and stuff. A lot of people are experiencing those issues with short-term rentals.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're trying to get that, but usually you need a permit and everything. But long-term is a little bit easier.
Exactly. Well, most subdivisions do not want you to do Airbnb because of all the traffic. You don't know whoever is living or just spending a night or two in your neighborhood. So definitely check with your HOA regulations. And I would suggest that to anybody talking to buyers as well. That might be an option, if you, because I normally, because I'm a property manager, whenever I'm working with a buyer, I ask them, do you have any plan or do you think that you're going to be needing to rent it out in the future? And if the answer is yes, I definitely check the HOA's bylaws.
Yeah.
And HOA bylaws can be changed by vote, of course. So when things are going great, it's a seller's market, they might restrict the renting out. But things go really bad, because I've seen it after Lehman Shock and everything. I've seen many HOAs change their regulations because of necessity. Lots of homeowners were stuck, and they voted for, okay, let's rent it out. Yeah.
Well, I really like, too, our setup. So we collect the security deposit, and then also from the homeowners, usually we have the repair reserve. And so that really makes our life easier is they pay us, like basically we're holding their money, but if a tiny repair comes in, they already have that reserve versus having to ask, hey, it's a $50 repair or $100 repair, ask them for money each time. It's easy to have that repair reserve.
We have $500 minimum repair reserve as a company, and because sometimes tiny like toilet leaks, that needs to be dealt right away.
Mm-hmm.
So in our homeowner agreement, we have the homeowner agree on if it's less than 500, we can go ahead and get it fixed.
Yep.
And they normally like it because they don't want me to call them up each time the little things happen, and I need to get your approval on that, and so that's a very good deal for both of us, both sides, and also I guess my monthly, one of the monthly tasks is to come up with the booking. Yeah, accounting. So normally repair costs are deducted from the next month rent income from the homeowner. So we collect rent from the tenants and we deduct all the fees and expenses from it, and then we deposit the money into the homeowner's bank account.
Yep.
So another requirement for us is to have the homeowner to have an active U.S. bank account, because some of my homeowners are overseas.
Yeah, but that's kind of why it's good to have more tools in the tool belt versus just buying and selling. Because the property management, you can find a tenant.
Yes.
You could negotiate with the owner. Hey, if I find you a tenant, I make X%. But then also the monthly, you're earning a portion of every time they pay rent.
Yeah.
So it's just a good.
It's a very steady income, because you don't have to be selling or buying or doing any new agreement, new closing per se. If you have a tenant in, every month you get income from those property management portfolio of yours. So that's good.
Well, there's so much with property management because there's so many laws and everything else. What do you think are some best first avenues to take if they're interested further in continuing property management?
Talk to anybody, just like you're doing for selling and buying, and because everybody needs to live somewhere.
Yes.
So if they're not buying, if they're not selling, are you looking for rentals? So MLS has rental listing. I suggest you kind of go look into that and see the ongoing rates, and it's just, oh God, it's so high. Monthly rent had gone up everywhere, especially Middle Tennessee, Murfreesboro, Franklin, Nashville. So that might open up some eyes of might be sellers, because the sellers might think, well, I'm not going to be able to move anywhere. I'm stuck here. But why don't you rent it? You have this amount of income. You can rent some bigger place for you maybe, or move somewhere that you really like to go. So just keep it in mind. It's an option you can offer.
Well, I've noticed some agents too, they'll help renters find a place because then long term, hopefully those people probably turn into, hey, let me buy my own house.
Yes. So yes, make sure that those people will have to move eventually, and they have your number. They have your name and number. Just check back with them in a year, because when their lease term ends.
Yes.
Well, your lease is ending in a couple months. What are you gonna do? Are you ready to buy now? And I see more and more people who cannot buy because it's crazy market. They cannot buy anything they want. They need to rent. Meanwhile,
right?
So if the person goes like, well, I have to move out by certain date from this place. What do I do? Do I settle for something less to buy? You can suggest, well, wait a minute, you can rent. Meanwhile, and do like 1 year lease, and meanwhile you have more time. You can buy time frame with that kind of things. Just be creative.
Well, I think too. I actually took a class 2 days ago from local association, but they were talking about the landlord-tenant laws and everything. So that's a really good resource too. Is go to your association.
Yes.
Also, if they could ask you or another experienced property manager.
Yes.
Or even if it's just too much, it's like, hey, Yumi's here to help.
Yeah, I'm here to help. Yep. I never turn down anybody who needs help from me.
Well, awesome. Well, I appreciate your time.
Sure.
I hope this gives people a good overview of property management,
Yes.
kind of what to expect, and then also a great resource
Yes.
if somebody needs a property manager.
Yes.
Yumi's our agent number one. She joined us first.
I'm here.
She's awesome.
Call me.
What's a good number in case they got to call you?
615-415-3388.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for checking out the Zach Taylor podcast. Today was about property management, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.